Hey everybody, welcome to your horoscopes for this week. These are the horoscopes for the week ending 3/26/2016. It is officially spring here in the northern hemisphere and fall in the southern hemisphere, of course, as we're celebrating the vernal equinox today. Sunday, the beginning of the week, as a matter of fact, which also means happy birthday to all the Aries, because we're officially in Aries territory this week. So we got a lot of things going on, lots of changes, lots of opportunities, and we're going to go ahead and sail right into the horoscopes. And we're going to start, as we always do, with Aries, because it's your time now, Rams. First and foremost, before I kick off Aries, I'd like to say happy birthday to a couple of amazing and wonderful ladies. The first one, her birthday being today, actually, on the first day of spring. That's DC Love. She's a medium. She's an angel communicator. She is absolutely awesome. She totally rocks at what she does. And I hope she's having a fantastic birthday today, DC. And also later on in this week, this wonderful and fantastic Rochelle DeBelle is having a birthday this week. Now, this is a big momentous birthday for her. I'm not going to tell you what age she is, but it is one of those rite of passage sort of birthdays. And I just have to say to you, Rochelle, that no matter what you do from this point forward, you've been a musician, you've been an author, you've been 1,000 different things. I'm not going to list them all, but you can do anything. And I have a feeling that there's some pretty amazing new stuff in store for you in the coming days. But until then, I hope that you have a rockin' birthday this week and that you're spoiled rotten as you should be. Now, for everybody else, anybody having a birthday this week, happy birthday. It is a great week as the sun, of course, kicks off this week in your sign, followed very closely by Mercury, which is going to be in your sign within the first few days of the month. And this is, of course, going to be very helpful, and it's going to be a little difficult too. First of all, we're going to start with Uranus's trine with Pluto, which is still there, and it's still a nightmare. And as Mercury joins that T-square towards the end of the week, things are going to get a little bit technical, especially in terms of communication around some professional relationships. That might be difficult for you. Now, of course, this challenge is coming in order to really make Uranus's trine with Saturn and Mars this week, and of course Mercury and the Sun both join that trine by the end of the week, more powerful. This is a huge burst of energy towards getting things done when it comes to some of your career goals. And there's an amazing amount of support for those career goals around you also. So really, when it comes down to the challenge is one or two relationships that are giving you some issues. But when you're talking about the trine or the aspect that's really helpful, it's the sky's the limit. I mean, that's the energy on this trine, especially with like 5 planets involved by the end of the week. It's major, and you've got your ruling planet of Mars also in this particular aspect. So really, you can't go wrong. Don't let those difficulties in those other relationships hold you back from what it is that you need to do, because you need to be on fire. You're an Aries. That's the way it's supposed to be. And these little challenges are nothing more than these little obstacles that we have to climb over in order to really feel success at our fingertips. So you guys have a kick-ass week with that. Taurus, you are you and you are love, and that is your motto for this week. Everybody's life goes through highs and lows. We all go through highs and lows, and Tauruses specifically have this unique knack of dealing with these highs and lows, depending on how long, of course, the duration of that high or that low is. Now, for the most part, most of us, when we're high, we're high. Everything is great. We can really feel the love. We're just happy. And when you hit that low point, it can feel like you're being buried emotionally by that low point, and there's no possible way out of that particular situation. This week, it's time to really, really, really focus on that high moment, where you are when you're feeling at your love place. And when the difficulties and challenges come in, as in they probably will, or they usually do, it's really time to tap into that energy of your love place, your high place, that love that you have inside of you. For instance, when you Tauruses are so good at emotionally helping other people. When somebody comes to you and they have a problem, you can give them nothing but love and advice and things that will really benefit that particular person. But when you're in a low place, oftentimes you deny that from other people. This week, it's all about changing that around. Be open to receiving that love back that you give out to everybody else. This is a typical Taurus trait of needing to give to everybody and not always necessarily being open to receive. You're going to find that by doing this, your challenges will lessen in strength. They won't be as big, and it will be so much easier to overcome them, which is, of course, a very, very, very positive aspect of doing this. So this week, it's time to really, really focus that energy on your love place. When you feel empowered, when you feel that that love is just pouring out of you, and then focus that love on those down places and really feeling it then. Because the truth is, whether you feel love for others and yourself when you're going through good things is neither here nor there. It's how you feel when you're going through the challenges that really, really makes a benefit for you guys. So you guys have a great week with that. Gemini, how does it feel to jump over one obstacle after another and be successful at the end of it? Well, this week, you guys should definitely know, as that's what it's all about this week. When you're dealing with obstacles that mimic obstacles from the past, of course, your first initial reaction is to look at it, get scared, and go, oh my God, I failed at this before and I'm going to fail it again. But they always come back to you. Have you ever noticed that? They always come back up again. And they're not coming back up again to beat you up and prove that you're worthless and you can't do anything. They're coming back again to give you another opportunity to fix it, to do it better, maybe succeed where you may not have succeeded in the past. And there's a lot of different reasons why now is a great time to do that versus in the past. You may not have had the tools or the wisdom, the knowledge, or whatever it is that you needed before to tackle this situation, but now you do. And then, of course, also you have the opportunity to change at any time. So this week, really, really focus on what you can do. When these old obstacles come up, look them square in the face. Look past your fears and what's going on in here and look at this obstacle and say, okay, this is how I can change the outcome for good. This not only eliminates that old obstacle from ever coming back again because you finished and you've learned the lesson, but it also is an empowering experience teaching you that nothing, and I mean nothing, holds you down if you're not willing to let it. So you guys have a great week with that. Cancer, it's not always easy to be or live in a whole new you, and that's what this week is all about. Now, what am I talking about when I say this? We all have aspirations and goals for ourselves to maybe grow into something more powerful or something more knowledgeable or something more anything really happier. There's all kinds of different personal goals that we have, and this week this is what it's all about for you Cancers. It's about striving to the next level of you, that whole new you opportunity that people talk about all the time. That's what that is. But once you get there, it's not exactly comfortable to be there, and the reason, of course, is because you were very comfortable inside of your little crab shell where you were before. This week, it's really, really time to look at why you feel uncomfortable with your new you and what you can do about that situation. To start off with, you have to come out of your comfort zone. All growth is all about stepping out of your comfort zone, and to be honest with you, that's not an easy thing for anybody, but the most successful people constantly step out of their comfort zone and make themselves uncomfortable in order to be able to grow and move forward. You see, a good example of that would be somebody who has aspirations to act on the stage, but they are terrified of being in front of people. That is one of those obstacles where they have to step out of their comfort zone and get on a stage in front of people in order to achieve that goal. This week for you Cancers, this is what it's all about. It's about daring to go out of that comfort zone and go into a place where you're uncomfortable, and really believe in that new you. It's not comfortable at first. It may even seem a little bit fake at first. But the truth is that the more you spend time in this place, the more you spend time allowing yourself to shine out of that shell, the more comfortable it becomes. So what you're actually doing is you're finding a new comfort zone for yourself. Think about that for a minute. You're replacing the old comfort zone with a new comfort zone, which you're going to have to come out of later to do something else that's spectacular. So this week, it's time to be brave, Cancers. It's time to dare to step into the person that you were meant to be. Show the world who you are meant to be right now, remembering that it's all you that get to make these choices on who you are, and really stepping into who you're supposed to be for the world. I guarantee it's frightening to do this, but it's so amazing once you get past that fear. So you guys have a great week with that. Leo, fond memories take you back to being a kid again this week. And of course, there's nothing more fun than being a kid again, right? Now, whether or not this energy takes you to a place where you're spending more time playing with your kids and really using your imagination, or you're just reminiscing about things that you did when you were younger, a lot of the time as human beings, we have a tendency to take this to a dark and very emotional place where we sort of pine for those times of innocence and that innocent perception. Or you can tap into that innocent perception again, like right now while you're doing what you're doing. And it's important, of course, to do this at many different points in your life. One of the biggest reasons, of course, why it's important to do this is because you want to get back to that innocent sort of perception. You want to get back into that energy of the way things were when you were youthful. And of course, that mindset that the sky's the limit, I can do anything, kind of a sort of feeling that you had before life came in and sort of jaded your perception. It's time to tap back into that perception. Now, doing this particular week is going to be very beneficial for you in every single aspect of your life. We're talking making career changes, we're talking making personal changes, we're talking making all kinds of changes. And that sort of innocent, open-minded perception of children that you want to tap into, your own innocent, open-minded child mind, is really going to be beneficial to all these things in your life. It's going to give it an innocence that is really going to be powerful. So this week, dare to be a kid and put yourself back in that kid mode. Whether you need to go out and play or climb a tree or use your imagination, which is something that, a lot of us grow out of into adulthood. These things are really important for you right now because they are very positive tools that are going to lead you in the direction that you want to go. And of course, you definitely want to go there. So you guys have a great week with that. Virgo, Jupiter's T-square with Neptune and Saturn this week is really going to change from what it was last week as the Sun and Mercury officially move out of this aspect and Venus moves into this aspect. And not only that, but Saturn's going retrograde at the end of this week too. So you've got Jupiter and Saturn now are both retrograde in this particular T-squared aspect. Now, it's going to provide some difficulties, of course, especially as you feel that responsibilities keep being heaped on you in such a way that you can't really focus on what your goals are right now. Specifically, those goals that really mean something to you. I mean, these are heart's desires kind of a thing. And when you're looking at these responsibilities and you're in your mind and your mind's going 1,000 miles a minute, I'm willing to bet it's going in a negative place. Really focusing on how these responsibilities are going to be what stops you from achieving your goals. I'm willing to bet money on this, Virgos, because that tends to happen a lot with everybody. But of course, Virgos have a tendency to be in their heads a lot. Being ruled by Mercury, of course, it happens. Now, the good news is that Jupiter's trine with Pluto is going to be a grand sextile at the end of this week as the moon moves into position. And you're going to find that you have a tremendous support system. You had this tremendous support system, but when you start to feel down, you don't see this support system in front of you. By the end of this week, you're really going to be able to see and feel this support system. And it's going to put you in a completely different mindset together. A mindset that says, I have all the help that I need. I'm going to tap into it. I'm going to take it. I'm going to run with it. And I'm a Virgo. I can do anything I set my mind to. That's the mindset that you got to be in. Because the truth is, there's two things about these responsibilities that are being heaped on you right now. One, if it's not your responsibility, don't accept it. And two, if it is your responsibility, you can take care of it and your dreams at the same time. Maybe not together at the same moment, but you can toggle back and forth with them. The truth is, nothing is a good enough excuse for you to let go of your dreams. So you guys have a great week with that. Libra, while the dark moon is calling for change as far as your foundation and your home this week, at the same time, she's also calling for a break. And that is a break in focus, which means a break for you guys. Which means it's all up in the air. You can basically do whatever you want. But my suggestion for this week is to actually take a break. Now, I have never known a Libra to actually take a break before, so hopefully you guys take my advice and really take a break. Do something for yourself. That means stepping away from everything that you possibly can step away from. Now, of course, if you've got a day-to-day job, scheduling vacation time for this week's probably a little last minute to do that, but other things, other projects, all of the 10,000 things that you've got going on, it's time to put them all down if you don't have to deal with them right now and take a break from them. Now, it's not just taking a break by putting them down and not doing anything. You got to get out of here too. And this is the most important part of this break, is taking a break from your head, from your mind, from what's going on and all of the 1,000 things that you have to do that are continuously going on in your brain at any given time. When you get confused and when you start to get frustrated and things are not working out, it's probably because while you're doing something, you're thinking about all the other things that you have to do. And that screws you up. It also stresses you out. It gets you over frustrated. It does all kinds of things that are really just not needed. So this week, quiet your mind and take a break. Never mind all of those things that are on the back burner that you have to do. Just take a break and do something for you this week. Whatever it is that you want to do this week. And then when you get back to those things that you need to do on the back burner, you stand a better chance of being able to make a list of priorities and actually scratch them off and get them done. And then, of course, you're going to be rejoicing because you got all your stuff done. So this week, it's all about a break time for you guys, and have a great week with that. Scorpio, as the moon ends the week in your sign, she's ending the week in your sign in aspect with Neptune and Venus, Jupiter and Pluto in amazing different ways. And we're talking, these are aspects that really open up doors. Now, the biggest thing about the moon's aspects with Jupiter and Pluto is really showing you just how much support you do have around you in terms of achieving your goals, and also giving you a very specific meaning as to why you need to achieve these goals. And no longer is it a good idea or is it necessary to think about these goals as things you want to do. How about looking at them as things that you are meant to do in the first place? Now that one, it gives it a little bit more of a responsibility, but at the same time it takes you out of this, I'm being selfish because I want to do this. This is your mark on the world. This is what you're supposed to do. This is your calling. And if you feel that calling in here, inside your gut and your heart, you're walking your soul's purpose, and that is what it's all about this week. So hang on to that support. Really feel that loving support that you do have around you. Make the absolute most of it, rather than beating yourself up thinking that you're not good enough, because this week the game is changing and it really is time for you to step into who you're meant to be. You guys have a great week with that. Sagittarius, as Saturn goes retrograde this week and continues her T-square with Jupiter and Neptune, Venus moves into this aspect also, and Mars moves dangerously close to joining this aspect, but not quite, as he's moving further and further into conjunction with Saturn. Now, this T-square is difficult, and especially as Saturn, you'll feel the shift of Saturn moving retrograde, as you feel all of these responsibilities sort of heaped on your shoulders, and really feel like you're the only one that can handle these responsibilities, or they are all yours, and that can really drag you down after a while. Now, the good news, of course, is that Saturn and Mars are still in trine with Uranus, and also moving into that trine position is Mercury and the Sun by the end of this week, and this is a really healthy counterbalance to this T-squared difficulty, when it's really pointing you towards how much you can shine and how much that you can accomplish when it comes to your career goals. So we're talking a little bit of difficulty with some other goals, but a lot of energy towards your career goals. And what this T-square may just be trying to tell you is right now it is time to focus on your career and not necessarily other goals that you might have. Doesn't mean that they're less important. It just means that right now, if you move with the energy, big things are going to happen in your career. Whereas if you don't move with the energy, you may not have big things moving anywhere, because it's going to keep trying to get you back to focusing on the career. And the truth is, you don't want to miss out on the opportunities that are being given to you, which is exactly what this aspect is all about. So this week, it's really time to stay out of your head, quit arguing with yourself, basically, about what you have to do, and just do what you gotta do. That's the best thing that I can say about this week right now. Let your gut point you in the direction of where you need to go, and stop fighting it, for crying out loud. Because the truth is, if it's not working, focusing somewhere else, it means that it's trying to point you in a different direction, one that's going to work out better for you. So you guys have a great week with that. Capricorn, as Mercury moves into conjunction with Uranus this week, he also joins that squared position with Pluto that is still causing some issues in your professional relationships. And specifically with communication around these particular relationships, is you seem to find yourself in a place of every time you communicate with this person, it seems like it's turned back on you for some reason. And it's really frustrating. It also makes you not want to say anything at all, because you're trying to stop it from coming back at you. And it puts you in this sort of fear place or victim place where you really don't want to stand up and say what you need to say to this person, because you're afraid it's just going to come back on you in some way. Now, the good news is Pluto's aspects with the moon, Jupiter, and Venus this week are telling you that these situations, of course, are there for a reason. As you grow past these challenges, you'll be able to grow past them for good and leave them behind you for good. And also, if these circumstances ever come up, of course, you'll have a better understanding of how to deal with them. But the big thing here is that you can't be afraid to say what you need to say. If you need to call somebody out on what they're doing, then for heaven's sakes, call them out. And if they try and turn it around on you, they're going to. They always do, because the truth is that if this person is a difficult person, chances are they're not going to take responsibility very well, which is why they turn it back on you. Let them do it. The truth will set you free, and everybody will see the truth, no matter what you say or how you say it. So this week, it really is time to step into the person that you're meant to be. Stop dealing with these difficult relationships and do something about them. Say what you need to say. And if saying what you need to say doesn't fix the relationship, then say what you need to say to end it and replace them with somebody who will get things done. Because that is the Capricorn way. So you guys have a great week with that. Aquarius, the part of fortune comes into your sign the very last few days of the week, bringing us some luck when it comes to money. And I always love luck when it comes to money. It's like the coins, the pennies are just shining down on you, and the money door is open and free flowing for those few days. Now, this energy is going to be very beneficial to really help offset some difficulties, maybe financially in the beginning of the week, and knowing that, of course, it's coming might make those difficulties a little bit less difficult, but also it's about your mindset on money. Now, remember, of course, the more you look at something as a difficulty, the bigger it becomes and a bigger difficulty that it becomes. You don't want to be the cause of your difficulties being quite so big. You have the control over how big or how small they are. You don't need the part of fortune either to allow that money to flow in and out of you, through you easily. You just have to believe that you are open and willing to have that money. So this week, it really is all about your own perceptions of your financial difficulties and your own perceptions about how money flows through you. And if you're finding yourself in the position where money is not flowing in and out like it should, well, then you need to find out why inside of you that is happening, because that's where it's located. It's not external, it's all internal. So you guys have a great week with that. And finally, Pisces, Neptune's T-square with Saturn and Jupiter is going to get a little tricky as Saturn moves into retrograde along with Jupiter, which was already in retrograde. And Venus kicks off this week in conjunction with Neptune in your sign, which of course means that Venus is also part of this T-square too. Now, of course, this aspect has been challenging. I mean, we're not even going to talk about how challenging it has been, because we know how challenging it is. But when you're looking for the root of your challenges this week, it's all about looking right in here. Because the truth is that we make more challenges for ourselves than anything else in the world can do. And these things that happen externally become bigger by how we perceive them internally. Now, Neptune and Venus move into very favorable positions this week with Pluto and the Moon at the end of the week. And all of these really favorable aspects are pointing towards your support system. If you didn't know that you had this enormous support system, you better open your eyes this week and really take a look and see just how big that support system is. You are not alone in this. And having these people to come in and support you and telling them what you need in order for them to support you is the difference between a wonderful outcome for your plans or no success at all, or you saying, I can't do that, I can't do that, I can't do that. So this week, it's time to stop saying, I can't do that in my mind, and start saying, will you help me out? And allow these people to come in and help you, because sometimes, some dreams, they take a village, and that is the truth. Allow the village to come in and help you, and allow that village to be there when you are on top. Because, if you pick the right people, they've always got your back. You know how that is. So you guys have a great week with that. Thanks so much for watching the horoscopes this week. I'm Melissa Bruce, the Heavy Metal Psychic. Don't forget to check out all of our links, the Heavy Metal Psychic Facebook page, and we got a new webpage coming up for you guys really, really, really soon, but it's not out yet, so I can't tell you about it. You're gonna have to wait. Sorry. Again, I'm Melissa Bruce, the Heavy Metal Psychic. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next week. Until then, may your week kick as much ass as possible.